This is ABC 57 News at 6:30.
Firefighters are investigating the cause of a fire that sparked in a home early this morning. We'll hear from them in moments. And new improvements are coming to schools in Elkhart after voters check yes to new referendums. Good morning, Michiana. Welcome to ABC 57 News. I'm Emily Pritchard. Well, what do you think about the 80s? We're finally hitting those digits today. ABC 57 First Morning Neighborhood meteorologist Tom Coombs joins us now outside with a look at that forecast. And Tom, sounds nice out there. A few birds chirping.
Yeah, birds chirping, temperatures in the 50s.
Thanks, Tom. And new this morning, fire crews had just left the scene of an early morning house fire out of New Paris. That happened on the 18,000 block of First Street with a family inside. Now, crews, they've been there since 3 o'clock this morning, and so was our ABC 57's Eric Cox. And Eric, what's happening out there right now? At Election Day, it has come and gone. This morning, the Elkhart School District is waking up a winner. 2 referendums passed, giving more money to area schools. Now, a property tax vote and a bond issue both passed by 60%. ABC 57's Eric Stelzer, he is live at Riverview Elementary School this morning with more on what that means to you. Hey, Eric. Thank you, Eric. In another big race, looking to see who'd snatch that Democratic side of the ticket for November's 2nd District congressional race. Joe Bach took the lead with the majority of those votes. Bach will now face off against incumbent Jackie Walorski. Now, the Republican from Elkhart replaced then Congressman Joe Donnelly, who now serves in the Senate. Walorski won that 2nd congressional seat back in 2012. Now, Bach currently serves as a faculty member at Notre Dame and says he has experience in crisis and violence prevention for all of northern Indiana. And next in our election coverage, we head to LaPorte County for a look at the Democratic primary for prosecutor. Here's a look at those results. John Espar wins this one by a landslide, getting 70% of the vote over fellow Democrat Bob Szilagyi. And in St. Joseph County, the prosecutor's race in November, that's already been set. Only one name appeared on each side of the ballot for this primary. Republican Jeff Sanford will go against Democrat and current deputy prosecutor Ken Cotter. Now, current prosecutor Michael Dvorak is retiring after this term. And St. Joe, Michigan's Public Safety Department is without a director and deputy director this morning. ABC 57 has learned that Deputy Director Al DeBrito was fired yesterday after a 2-month-long investigation into his conduct. Now, Director Mark Clapp was put on leave for making inappropriate comments. Representatives for DeBrito responded in a press release saying this: he has always acted with the highest attention to the law and ethical law enforcement standards throughout his career. And parents up in Benton Harbor, they are crying foul for this. They say a riot broke out at the end of Saturday's Blossom Time Parade when that parade crossed over from St. Joseph into Benton Harbor. Now, parents wondered where security or police were during that ordeal. And ABC 57 News is working for those parents around the clock. We asked those questions to Benton Harbor Mayor James Hightower.
I did speak with Superintendent Dr. Seawood. Coming up with a strategy for next year, utilizing school security.
And ABC 57 News also talked with the Berrien County Sheriff's Office. They say Benton Harbor Police were responsible for that part of the parade route, but nothing came over those police radios. And spring, it is the time for change, and you can be a part of that change around you, all by donating blood. The need for blood remains constant, especially as the weather becomes warmer. Today from noon until 5, make sure to make your way to Bethany Christian School's gym. That's on South Main Street in Goshen to give blood. And let's check back in with ABC 57 First Morning Neighborhood meteorologist Tom Coombs for a look at our morning weather. And Tom, what are you seeing on the radar right now?
Things are pretty clear as far as any rain out there.
And the latest version of Apple's iOS 7 software isn't encrypting email attachments. Up next, ABC 57 details the safety alert and what it means for you and your important information. You're looking at live Doppler radar. You might need a light jacket as you head out the door, but we'll be hitting the 80s today. It's been a while. Meteorologist Tom Coombs tells us just how long we can expect that warm weather to last ahead. And let's talk about your phone this morning. Here's a safety alert for your iPhone. A German security expert says the latest version of Apple's iOS 7 software is failing to encrypt email attachments, leaving you vulnerable to hackers. Apple says they are aware of this problem, but at this time they haven't said when it will be fixed. And there's a significant trend developing at the pump that you'll probably like. Gas prices are on the decline. According to the Energy Information Administration, gas prices dropped for the first time in 13 weeks. The average price of gasoline fell 2.9 cents to $3.68 a gallon. Doesn't sound so bad. Well, analysts predict that gasoline prices will increase a bit during the summer driving season, but will fall again by the end of September. And the demand for Teslas in the U.S. may be dwindling. Auto Tracker says it estimates sales of the high-end electric car to rise less than 1% for the first quarter. The company is currently ramping up sales in Europe and is getting ready to roll out in China. Now, Tesla's shares are currently down more than 20% from their record high earlier this year. And Office Depot announced yesterday it plans to close at least 400 stores across the U.S. Company officials say the closings are a byproduct of the overlap created by last year's merger with OfficeMax. Now, at least 150 stores are expected to close this year. And nearly a decade after they merged with Kmart, Sears says it's planning to shut down more stores. The Chicago Tribune reports the company has seen 28 straight quarters of declining sales and adds since 2010, Sears has closed 305 stores. Well, the NFL draft is just a day away, but this morning, some California high school students are being criticized for holding a similar draft, but for all the wrong reasons.
In high definition.
I finally changed my underwear, folks. Now shouldn't you?
Well, recognize that guy. The Naked Cowboy is sporting a new pair of pants, well, kind of pants, and is strutting around Times Square in his tidy whities. That's what he's known for. But it's now boxer briefs for Robert Burke. He started off on a shoestring budget, posing, of course, for tips while singing a few chords, but now has a deal with Fruit of the Loom and photos hanging high above Times Square. And he is actually sporting their no ride-up leg and getting a few dollars, I'm sure, for doing it from Fruit of the Loom. So good for him.
You know, people may have thought, well, that's ridiculous. You're going to Times Square, you're just going to sing in your underwear. What money's going to be in that? Well,
yeah, it didn't turn out. Yeah, I'm sure there were a lot of naysayers in the beginning, but I would say it hasn't turned out so bad for him.
The big underwear dollars just rolling in for the guy.
Yeah, it worked for Michael Jordan, you know, and Hanes. So, you know, what about that?
There you go. And if you're Fruit of the Loom, you know, it's as good as a billboard.
Yeah, and probably cheaper than one in Times Square, I would assume.
Cheaper in Times Square as well. Today, you can wear those shorts.
Thanks, Tom. Well, it's an NFL-style draft, but here, only female students are ranked as possible dates for prom. Some male students at a California high school, they're facing criticism after some of those draft picks results, they appeared on Twitter. Students say this draft involved just a small group of people, and the school even sent home a letter to parents about the rumor to explain the consequences of those actions.
They just pick like numbers randomly to see like who gets first pick and last pick and all in between. And then they pick who they want to take to the dance.
Well, the school urged parents to talk to their kids about the situation, adding prom is an important event in students' lives. Well, at 6:51 this morning, Joe Bach is now preparing to face off against incumbent Jackie Walorski. We'll hear from him and how he says he is ready to bring a moderate approach to D.C. if he takes the 2nd District congressional seat. Plus, it was down to the wire for many other races across Michiana in yesterday's primary elections. ABC 57 has a recap of all of those top races and issues affecting you and your family. Their home when flames broke out overnight. This happened on the 18,000 block of 1st Street around 3 this morning. Fire crews just wrapped up their response within the last hour there, but ABC 57's Eric Cox is still live from the scene this morning. And Eric, how is that family now doing? Well, here is our ABC 57 election report. It was a big win for one candidate taking the Democratic side of the ticket for November's 2nd District congressional race. Joe Bach took that lead with nearly 60% of the vote. Bach will now face off against incumbent Jackie Walorski. The Republican from Elkhart replaced then Congressman Joe Donnelly, who now serves in the Senate. Now, she won that second congressional seat back in 2012, and Bach is currently serving as a faculty member at the University of Notre Dame and says he does have experience in crisis and violence prevention for all of northern Indiana.
We need a pragmatic problem solver rather than somebody engaged in partisan bickering. The partisan games need to end, and we need people to come in and address the problems that our government is facing.
Now, Bach and Walorski, they will face off against each other in the fall election. And two spots in November's 3rd District congressional race also up for grabs. Here's a look at those results for the Democratic side of the ticket. It's going to be Tommy Schrader and Justin Kuhn Lee. And here are the results from the 3rd District congressional Republican primary. Marlin Schutzman took the lead with this one with more than 80% of that vote. And the Elkhart School District is feeling some relief this morning as 2 referendums passed, giving more money to community schools. Now, the property tax vote, that passed by 60%, and the second, a bond issue, also passed by another 60%. ABC 57's Eric Stelzer. He is live at Riverview Elementary School this morning with what that means. Hey, Eric. Thank you, Eric. And Concord Community Schools also had a referendum up for vote. It was the closest race of the night last night. The district wants more money to hire teachers and fix school buses, and Concord's referendum ended up passing. Just 78 votes allowed the Concord Schools operating tax to pass. And next in our election coverage, we head to LaPorte County for a look at the Democratic primary for prosecutor. Here's a look at those results. John Espar wins this one by a landslide, getting 70% of the vote over fellow Democrat Bob Szilagyi.
The 60s and low 70s for Mother's Day weekend.
Let's not talk about that. We want to talk about the 80s today and tomorrow. That's what I know we're all looking forward to. Thanks for joining us here on ABC 57 News Morning Edition. I'm Emily Pritchard.
And I'm Tom Coombs.
And make sure to stick around for Good Morning America. That is coming up next. And of course, have a great start to your Wednesday. Enjoy those 80s.